let's go ahead and begin talking about some very awkward Christian dating advice. Now, this isn't from our usual suspects. You would expect this to be from either biblical gender roles or girl defined. That is not what we're doing today. Today we are going to be looking at something from the lovely land of TikTok, where all good ideas go to die and all bad ideas become viral. I'm kidding. TikTok's not that bad, but I'm still going to make fun of it anyway because it's not of my generation, so I have to. I'm contractually obligated to do so, despite the fact that I have a TikTok and I post on TikTok. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into the fan art section before we get into this silly bit of advice. I've totally not been using this time to scroll down and find the artist responsible for today's artwork. Definitely not me. But this one is from Rosy Goggles. They said, "Hi, I've been watching your channel on and off for years. I've been thinking about making fan art for you for a while now. I tried to make a goth Suris, but I think I missed the mark, but I hope you like it." And honestly, I like it. While it looks more punk to me than it does like goth specifically, but I do actually like it. I would be very scared to see what would happen if this particular hammer were to hit anybody in the face. That would probably hurt quite a lot. But it does say here, "There will be no trial. All of you will pay for your crimes. You fucking degenerates." And you know what? For people who have forced in war crimes, they're there. Anyways, with that said, thank you very much for your fan art submission, Rosy Goggles. If you ever want your fan art to be shown on this channel, the best way to do so is to drop it into the Discord fan art section. With that said, let's go ahead and roll the intro. Alrighty. Now, I'm curious. This I found on Twitter because Inspiring Philosophy, of all people, was commenting on it. And I don't hate Inspiring Philosophy. I'm just gonna throw that out right now. And the fact that he came out on the other side of this particular video, I found very interesting. So let's go ahead and see what's the Christian dating advice on a 1-minute TikTok video that we have to go over. Let's take a look here.
Dating.
Oh God, what the fuck? Ow. Ow. All right, gonna have to cut that out in the edit.
The word is not in the Bible. Like,
okay, so he says
dating, the word is not in the Bible. Like that word's not in the Bible.
You know what else is not in the Bible? The Trinity. The Trinity's not in the Bible either. Who the fuck cares? It doesn't matter that dating is or isn't in the Bible. Like, that shouldn't inform whether or not you should actually try dating now.
But the concept of what we call dating is honestly practicing divorce. It's like getting with people to then figure out if you kind of want to be with them, and then you get out of it. And then we're taught, like, as young people, like, try it as many times as you want to.
You want to know why? You want to know why that is? Okay, so look, here's what happens when you just marry somebody instantaneously. If you marry somebody instantaneously, you don't know if you two are compatible. You don't know if you're sexually compatible. You don't know if you're emotionally compatible. Hell, imagine that you are a monogamous person and you start dating a polyamorous person. You get married to them, and then you have to figure out, are you going to stay there or not? It's a whole lot easier to have that conversation when you have the ability to leave at any point than it is if you are sitting there trying to figure that out with a legal piece of paper involved. Let's say that you have an incredibly high libido and your partner, you find out, has almost no libido. Is this going to be a problem for your relationship going forward? Should there be a legal piece of paper that you have to worry about to complicate that problem? Probably not. And let's go ahead and move out of the realm of mundane things and move into a bit more of an extreme area. What happens if you end up dating an abuser? And there's a legal document that prevents you from being able to escape that abuser in any meaningful capacity. Really? You think that we should, just force people to stay in those positions? You may say that it's bad because it's all practicing divorce, but divorce is not a bad thing. Divorce is just a sign that a relationship failed, but a relationship can fail for a variety of reasons. A relationship can fail because you two are incompatible. It can fail due to infidelity. It can fail due to abuse. It can fail due to you just wanting to see other people. It can fail because you find out that you're better off as friends than you are as lovers. There are positive and negative reasons that people end up divorcing. It's not always bad. You have to work from the position that divorce is automatically a horrible thing to come to this conclusion that it's bad for people to stop dating once they start.
Until you find the one. But what you've done is you've formed unknowingly a habit of getting into things and getting out of them.
So, yes, there are some people who potentially will get into relationships and get out of them without being committed. But here's the thing. If somebody is not able to be committed in a relationship, that's a personal problem for them. You don't need to change an entire system to tell people that they can or cannot engage in non-committal relationships. There are people that operate better single. There are people that operate better in a relationship. At the end of the day, what matters most is whether or not the individual people in these circumstances can find happiness. That's it. That is, for me, I understand that there are people who have the position that relationships are there for you to breed. My position is that relationships are there for you to be happy. If you're not happy in your relationship, then you should probably be finding either a different relationship or a different relationship style. You do not need to be unhappy in however you are dating. So when I see a TikTok like this saying that, oh, well, being able to get in and out of relationships, that just means that you're not going to be committed later. Not necessarily. If you end up dating 3 abusers and 2 people who don't have a libido that matches yours, and then the 6th time you settle on somebody who has a libido that relatively matches yours, they're not necessarily abusive. They might be immature, but that's a thing that can be worked on. There's a delineation between the two, and you say, okay, I can actually work with this. This is somebody who I could work with for a long time. And you end up having that person as your partner, and then you end up marrying. The previous relationships are not necessarily a determining factor as to whether or not your current relationship is one that you're going to be staying in or not. Yes, there are some individual people who have issues with commitment. That's not the same thing, though. Let's continue.
Oh, wow, I've never heard anyone say that.
So what ends up happening is when you get into a marriage and you're like, they're better than everybody else, and oh my God, I love them, and they bought me the right ring, and you go all that other stuff. When it gets tough, you're like, the first reflex I know to do is get out of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you say that, but maybe I can talk from a little bit of my personal history. Maybe this will help, okay? I have been in a relationship that lasted 2 weeks, a relationship that lasted 2 months, a relationship that lasted 3 or 4 months, and then a relationship that lasted almost a year, and then a relationship that lasted a year and a half. These are the relationships I had in high school. That's just high school. I started out with very short ones, and then the older I got, the longer I stayed in the individual relationships, just as a matter of habit. Did I have a reflex to immediately run because of that? No. Being able to date and then leave okay, so my first girlfriend that I had in high school, we were just not really compatible. It was just one of those things where it just didn't feel right. Second girlfriend, turns out that she wanted the ability to, sleep around with other people, and that was a thing that I just couldn't handle at that point in my life, so we just didn't. She also was heavily into drugs, and that was not a thing that I was able to really abide either. Next girlfriend ended up having a lot of issues where their step-parents were concerned, and they had a lot of influence on our relationship, to the point where we weren't able to have a relationship that did not involve their fucking step-parents, of all things. These are just a handful of the relationships I was in high school. Should I have dealt with any of those relationships with something other than not being a part of them anymore? Should I deal with a relationship where your parental figures are constantly breathing down my throat? Probably not. Should I deal with a relationship where you are wanting to do stuff with somebody other than me or the people that I've agreed are okay in like a polyamorous sense? I didn't know I was poly back then. Then no, that's not a relationship style I necessarily have to abide. Should I be in a relationship with somebody who is, drowning themselves in pills and other drugs? I shouldn't have to. I should not be forced to stay in that. So to argue that it's bad for people to leave relationships is to argue that me personally, I should not have had the opportunity to exit any of those relationships.
Yeah.
And that's why divorce is higher right now than it's ever been. And the saddest part is it's almost the same in the church.
So wait, hold on. Because people can date, that's why divorce is higher? Are you sure it's not because, I don't know, women are now more independent than they've ever been, and because they have this independence now, one of the major factors that forced people to stay in relationships for the longest time is now a non-factor? The inability to make an income and the inability to live on your own safely was one of the major factors that forced people to stay in marriages for the longest time. I hate to tell you this, divorce is not a bad thing. Divorce is a neutral thing. It can be good or it can be bad. Forcing people to stay in relationships that they are not equipped to deal with, that is worse than divorce. Because again, divorce is nebulous. But continue.
It's the divorce. It's because we've used this tool.
Oh, that's the end of it. You just kind of stopped. Okay, well, that wasn't much. Anyways, so when I saw this tweet, when I saw this tweeted, I already knew that I was going to have issues with it. And I'm happy that Inspiring Philosophy came out on the same side that I do here, that it's better for people to have the opportunity to exit relationships than it is for them to be forced to stay in them. Now, looking at some of the responses to this, when she said, "Oh, I've never heard anyone say that," I know that what she truly meant is, "What the fuck?" Next person says, "So accurate. This is why I've had to step my vetting process up because I'm not interested in dating. I'm only interested in the final outcome, to do life together." I'm sorry, but if you're only interested in this, there's a lot of sadness that you're going to have to deal with. Not everybody is at the same life stage as you. Not everybody, unfortunately, is there for that kind of commitment. And people who are there for a commitment might not be in for that commitment in the same capacity as you. Again, you may find yourself dating a polyamorous person where they are committed to you. They will never leave the relationship with you, but you might not necessarily be the only relationship that they have. That is a thing that you might not be equipped to deal with. But okay. We've got more here. AT dating is practicing for divorce. Why does this give me I kiss dating goodbye vibes? Oh, is there a what is this? What is this? Hold on. I Kiss Dating Goodbye is a 1997 book by Joshua Harris. The book focuses on Harris's disenchantment with contemporary secular dating scene. Of course. Why does it always end up being that there is an ounce? Let's see here. The book is cited as an example of belief in benevolent sexism and women as property, as well as promoting rape-supportive messaging and sexual purity teaching that emphasizes a hierarchical father-daughter relationship and reduces the agency of adolescent girls. Why does it always end up like this? Why does it always end up like every time we get some of this, like, only marry, whenever you get that kind of advice, why is it that the breadcrumbs for that always end up going back to some form of fucking misogyny? So I guess what's happening here is what we're being told. Also, Rosalind Faye, thank you very much for the tier 1 subscription. So what we're being told is dating is bad because it's telling you that you can be, I guess, a floozy is the best way. You're gonna immediately jump out of relationships when they get hard. What's really happening? I just opened the stream. What was that crap? That was Christian misogyny at its absolute finest, where you get the argument it's about commitment, but what it's really about is controlling a woman's body. That's what it ends up boiling down to. It's really awkward. I didn't realize that breadcrumb was going to take us here, but it did, and that I feel strange. I feel weird. I don't know how. I don't know. No, Blizzy, help. Blizzy, help. The kissing, dating goodbye. Guy later disavowed what he wrote. Ooh. Rosalind Faye, thank you very much for the hydrate. Breadcrumb, not breadcrumb, breadcrumbs. Anywho. With that, you can have, and you can have commitment without the ring. I've been with Raz for 5 years. More than 5 years now. I am wholly committed to this person. You don't need the fucking ring for that. I don't need a legal piece of paper telling me I'm gonna get punished, oh whoa. To know that I'm just gonna fucking stay here. But okay. Anyway. A dumb argument is dumb. What do you guys think? I know that this is, you know, a little bit of a non video, right? Like it's a shorter one. It's covering a TikTok. It's more talking about an idea than the actual thing we're talking about specifically. But I still want to know what you think in the comment section below. I do. Also, let me know what you think of the mic quality. We've done a lot of equipment upgrades lately. I want to know how the equipment upgrades are treating you. Anyways, with that said, if you want to support the channel and what I do, there's always ways to do so in the description below. And as always, everyone, insert end of video tagline here. Hey, thank you so much for watching this video. It really means a lot to me. If you want access to behind-the-scenes content for the channel, please consider checking out my Patreon. I do weekly vlogs over there where I give real-life updates to what's going on behind the scenes on the channel, stuff that you don't really get over here and even on Twitch. Patreon also helps the channel's stability a whole lot. Without Patreon, I wouldn't be able to do this at all. Especially with the kind of content that I do, neither YouTube nor Twitch are the most stable sources of income. If you are a $20 and up patron, then you will be featured on the ending slides as shown in the beginning of the end credits. If you want to catch the streams where all this content comes from, then consider heading over to Twitch and following. And if you want to continue watching over here on YouTube, maybe consider clicking one of the end screen videos. And once again, I want to thank you so much for spending your time with me over on my channel. I wouldn't be able to do literally anything that I'm doing over here on YouTube without each and every one of you. So thank you.